The rise of Chinese smartphones marked a new era. It was a time when the global smartphone market was ripe for disruption, and Chinese brands seized the opportunity with both hands. These brands, once considered underdogs, began to make waves in an industry dominated by a few key players. Their journey from obscurity to prominence is nothing short of remarkable. The smartphone world looked very different a decade ago. Back then, the market was largely controlled by a handful of companies, each releasing incremental updates to their devices. The designs were predictable, and the features, while innovative, followed a steady, almost monotonous pace. Consumers knew what to expect, and the excitement around new releases was often tempered by a sense of familiarity. We had a few big players. Giants like Apple, Samsung, and a couple of others were the undisputed leaders. Their dominance was unchallenged, and their influence on the market was profound. These companies set the trends, dictated the pace of innovation, and enjoyed a loyal customer base that eagerly awaited their next move. Innovation felt steady, but slow. Each year brought about new features, but the leaps were small. The industry was evolving, but at a pace that felt almost glacial. Consumers were getting used to the idea that major breakthroughs were few and far between. The excitement of the early smartphone revolution was giving way to a more mature but less thrilling phase of development. Then, Chinese brands entered the scene. Companies like Xiaomi, Oppo, Vivo, and OnePlus began to emerge from the shadows. They were hungry, ambitious, and ready to challenge the status quo. Their entry into the global market was marked by a series of bold moves and strategic decisions that caught the attention of consumers and competitors alike. They didn't just join the market, they disrupted it. These brands brought with them a fresh perspective and a willingness to take risks. They introduced innovative features that were previously unheard of, pushing the boundaries of what smartphones could do. From advanced camera systems to cutting-edge display technology, Chinese smartphones began to set new standards in the industry. This surge wasn't about copying, it was about competing. Chinese brands were often accused of imitating their Western counterparts, but the reality was far more complex. They were not just copying, they were learning, adapting, and improving. They took the best ideas from around the world and made them better, more affordable, and more accessible to a global audience. Chinese companies brought new ideas, aggressive tactics, and a drive to dominate. Their approach to innovation was relentless. They invested heavily in research and development, constantly seeking out new ways to enhance their products. Their marketing strategies were bold and aggressive, often undercutting competitors on price while offering superior features. This combination of innovation and strategy allowed them to quickly gain a foothold in the market. The result? A shakeup that changed the smartphone landscape forever. The market share of Chinese brands began to grow rapidly, and their influence became undeniable. They forced established players to rethink their strategies and step up their game. The competition led to a surge in innovation across the industry, benefiting consumers with better products and more choices. The rise of Chinese smartphones marked the beginning of a new era, one defined by rapid innovation, fierce competition, and a global marketplace that was more dynamic than ever before. Before the Chinese wave, the smartphone market felt predictable. You had your premium options, usually expensive. You had budget options, often lacking features. Choices felt limited. Innovation seemed to focus on incremental upgrades. The market was comfortable for the big players. Consumers, however, were about to get a lot more options. Chinese brands didn't become major players overnight. They had a strategy. First, they targeted emerging markets. These markets were price-sensitive and open to new brands. Chinese companies offered value. They packed in features usually found in pricier phones. This approach was key. It allowed them to gain a foothold and build momentum. Section 4. Price disruption. The game changer. One word: affordability. In the ever-evolving world of technology, affordability has become a key factor that can make or break a brand. This is especially true in the highly competitive smartphone market, where consumers are constantly on the lookout for the best value for their money. Chinese brands weren't afraid to undercut the competition. They entered the market with a bold strategy, offering devices that boasted high-end features at prices that were significantly lower than those of their well-established counterparts. This aggressive pricing strategy was not just a gamble, it was a calculated move to capture a significant share of the market. They offered impressive specs at a fraction of the cost. Features that were once considered premium, such as high-resolution displays, powerful processors, and advanced camera systems, were now available to the average consumer without the hefty price tag. This democratization of technology meant that more people could access high-quality devices, regardless of their budget. This strategy sent shockwaves through the market. Established brands, which had long enjoyed dominance and set the pricing standards, suddenly found themselves in a precarious position. The traditional pricing models were being challenged, and the market dynamics were shifting rapidly. Consumers were no longer willing to pay a premium for brand names alone. They wanted value for their money. Suddenly, consumers had high-quality options without breaking the bank. The influx of affordable yet feature-rich smartphones from Chinese brands meant that consumers had more choices than ever before. They could now enjoy the latest technology without having to make significant financial sacrifices. This shift empowered consumers, giving them the freedom to choose devices that best suited their needs and budgets. This price disruption forced everyone to adapt. Established brands could no longer rely on their legacy and brand loyalty alone. They had to innovate and find new ways to offer value to their customers. This led to a wave of changes in the industry, with companies re-evaluating their pricing strategies, product offerings, and marketing approaches. Established brands had to rethink their pricing. The game had changed. The once clear lines between premium and budget segments were now blurred. Brands that wanted to stay relevant had to find a balance between offering high-quality products and maintaining competitive prices. This new era of competition ultimately benefited consumers, as it drove innovation and ensured that everyone had access to the best technology at fair prices. Section 5. Feature Frenzy, Pushing the Boundaries of Innovation. Chinese companies didn't just compete on price. They understood that to truly stand out in the crowded smartphone market, they needed to offer something more, something unique. This realization led them to focus heavily on innovation, pushing the boundaries of what was possible in smartphone technology. They pushed the envelope on features, constantly seeking to outdo not just their competitors, but also themselves. This relentless pursuit of innovation became a hallmark of Chinese smartphone brands. They were among the first to introduce dual cameras, in-display fingerprint sensors, and high refresh rate displays. These features, which are now standard in many smartphones, were groundbreaking at the time of their introduction. Dual cameras allowed for better photo quality and more creative photography options. In-display fingerprint sensors provided a sleek, modern look and improved security. High refresh rate displays made for smoother, more responsive user experiences. This rapid innovation was unheard of before. The speed at which these companies were able to develop and implement new technologies was astonishing. It wasn't just about being first, it was about being the best and continually improving. It forced the entire industry to accelerate its development cycle. Competitors had to keep up or risk being left behind. This created a ripple effect, pushing the entire smartphone industry to innovate faster and more efficiently. Consumers benefited from a faster pace of technological advancement. They had access to cutting-edge features and technologies much sooner than they would have otherwise. This not only enhanced their user experience but also set new expectations for what a smartphone should be capable of. Chinese smartphone brands showcased their latest innovations at international tech expos, gaining recognition and respect from industry experts and consumers alike. Their commitment to pushing the boundaries of innovation earned them a place among the top players in the global market. Industry experts have noted the significant impact of Chinese innovation on the global smartphone market. They highlight how these companies have not only raised the bar for technological advancements but have also driven down costs, making high-end features more accessible to a broader audience. Consumers around the world are now enjoying the benefits of these advancements. Whether it's taking stunning photos with dual cameras, unlocking their phones with a simple touch on the screen, or enjoying a seamless gaming experience with high refresh rate displays, the impact of Chinese innovation is evident in their everyday lives. And the innovation doesn't stop there. Chinese smartphone brands continue to push the boundaries, exploring new technologies and features that will shape the future of smartphones. From foldable screens to advanced AI capabilities, the next wave of innovation is already on the horizon. The future of smartphone technology looks incredibly promising, thanks in large part to the relentless innovation of Chinese brands. As they continue to push the boundaries, we can expect to see even more exciting and groundbreaking features in the years to come. Pushing the boundaries of innovation is not just a goal for these companies, it's a way of life. And as they continue to innovate, the entire world stands to benefit.